So Skull and Bones has just entered its open beta, and I've been playing quite a lot of it. So it's time to ask the real question. After the huge disaster of every single lead up and delay for this Ubisoft original, how actually is it? Is it any good? Why is part of me actually excited? Okay, I have epilepsy, never mind. This is Skull and Bones, the open beta, and the first time that I'm ever playing this title. I'm actually kind of excited because of the amount of lead up and...
Menu narration, toggle, off, enables narration.
I'm actually kind of excited because of the amount of controversy of this build up. There has to at least be something here. After all the delays, are Ubisoft really going to release something unfinished? Well, this is feeling quite Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. So far, I don't hate the way it looks. Oh my god, we're literally like swiveling on a... There doesn't feel like there's a whole lot of weight to the boat, I will say that. Now, I think it goes without saying that this is the open beta, that things are subject to change, but we can get a pretty good idea of the game now. I mean, Ubisoft released it in this state because they were proud of the way it looked. This was the advertising campaign to try and get people into and play the full title, so we get a good idea of what we can expect. We open up in a battle. It is a huge battle against the British Navy, and we are the captain of a big pirate ship. You're able to take down a few guys at the start, but eventually you do just get demolished. But we do get a good idea of how the combat works. And it's, well, it's interesting. Okay, so these are our front cannons. This is all controlled quite a lot like as AC4. Sorry, am I a literal bombard cannon? Okay, so tapping W puts our sails down. I'm assuming tapping S puts them back up. Got it. Okay. God, it does look good though. I can't deny that. Look at... Oh, that is gorgeous. Take them down, boys. Oh, hello. You're different. So I am spamming left click to fire each individual cannonball. It's not like Black Flag where you fire a volley. Every time I click, a cannonball is fired. And that is the biggest problem for me, because it takes away a lot of the strategy of firing a volley and having to reload. It's a bit more like having a machine gun, which just feels really off. Let's see. Do we drop barrels or do we have some swivel cannons? We've got swivel cannons on the back. Okay, we are being shot by literal homing rockets. What is going on? Whoa, we are being chased by quite a few ships now. I've just gone through the ship. I just went through the shipwrecked boat. That's horrible. Oh, I've set something on fire. Oh no, it's the rockets. They are so accurate with those things. Okay. I am being chased down, but my god, does it look good. Oh, my sails have started to go. Once the British Navy overwhelm us and we are capsized, we have a short little cutscene. And this is where we can decide our character customization. Character customization is pretty basic, but at least this tries to be somewhat of an RPG. Then, being picked up by two funny fellas, we have our own little skiff. Now, this is so basic, there are no weapons on it. All you can do is sail around just that tiny little bit. And actually, it feels way much better than the bigger ships. I mentioned that the massive ships feel like they're so light, and that you can just handbrake turn in most of them, which actually is a thing. Gonna do a quick 180. See, this is the strange thing. You are basically driving these ships as if they're cars. What the hell was that? I mean, it was convenient, but come on, lads. What is going on there? Ah, much better. You know, oh, it's another human being. Oh my god, this game actually looks gorgeous. Oh my god. Look at the water. Okay, Ubisoft. This is one of the best looking games that I've ever seen, I think. Imagine if this was the game and you didn't have any of that rubbish goddamn arcadey shooting like at the beginning tutorial. This was like your little open world. Look how gorgeous it is. Oh, there's someone else over there. Hello. Oh, they're being attacked by something. They just lost some health. Unless they just rammed into an island. That is also very, very possible. S to disembark. Oh, sorry. And And whilst I have been very critical, I'm going to be completely honest during this video, I think the game is probably one of the best looking titles that I've ever seen. The lighting is gorgeous, the texture work is amazing, and, well, one of the more important bits, the water. The way it laps up onto the ship over the side and it spreads out over the deck before slowly draining away is a really, really nice touch. And then, of course, just looking down into the coals and this beautiful Indian Ocean. So this is the opening. We go to this little cove, there's a guy that we can talk to and he gives us a few little quests. These quests involve things like going and collecting some loot that have fallen into the water from the battle before and heading onto the ship to find our spyglass. And this is where I find most of the issues. The core mechanics of the game are okay, but everything just feels a little bit shallow. Whether it's entering this ship, just breaking away some planks, going in, using these cannons that self-reload constantly, even walking into this abandoned ship, it feels like it's forcing you in a set direction, and actually there is not much exploring to do. Oh, man is dead. Spyglass acquired. Great. So now I can head down this. I keep thinking there's someone next to me because of the goddamn audio. It's so strange. I can head straight back to my ship. At least I can teleport back to my ship. Not, you know, exactly the most interesting way of doing it, but it is an easy way of doing it. I'm going to go and say hello to this fella. What happens if I ram him? Oh my god, he's just got clones of our people. No, don't. I was going to see what we could do if we could ram each other. Huh? What's wrong? Oh, okay, we're being chased by a shark. Not ideal. I mean, that's not even talking about the bugs that I found in the first 5 minutes of gameplay. Ubisoft have just really struggled with this. Oh my god, why did the eyes blink like that?
The Exeter's guts spilled across these shallows. They were surrounded by drunken sluggards who believed they were doomed to this.
How far can I get into the water? Okay, I can get here. Game. Let me interact. I beg. Well, you've managed to go away in your little boat. It would be nice if I could actually interact with stuff, you know, guys. There we go. I had to relaunch. I couldn't even get back onto my boat after I talked to the tutorial guy. Yet pressing Z does let you teleport to your boat wasn't working for me. Going to the waypoint that lets you teleport to your boat wasn't working for me. I had to literally relog in order to carry on playing the game, which is ridiculous. Yet after completing the first little tutorial bit, we got to go out into the main ocean, and we'd arrive at St. Anne, which is the main port hub that you're going to be using at least in your early part of the game. Picking up quests from NPCs and of course finally upgrading our ship. We need to go out and find some resources in order to do that first. Okay, well, here comes the second bug. So you have to find some acacia trees. You can go to the spots that are pointed on the map. Yet if you go to a resource point that has recently been visited by another player, you can't pick up any resources. And there's no indication to tell you why not. So you end up just sitting there. Me and my buddy here also did the same, not understanding or not knowing why we couldn't complete this mission. I actually just had to Google it myself to work it out. And then we get to the resource harvesting. It looks so bad. I mean, I saw this in all the gameplay and the trailers, and I don't know why they've kept this in. It really does look like a mobile game of trying to click at the right time to get in that green segment to get the most resources at once. I don't know why they couldn't even just do this as a cutscene. As much as I hate the cutscenes and as much as I think it's ruined this game, the laziness, it would be better than this. This just looks absolutely awful. It's also the same with hunting, by the way, as I found out a little bit later. As we head back to St. Anne, we can finally upgrade our ship, put some cannons on this thing, and finally have something that is a little bit more resembling a pirate ship, and it's pretty cool. I do like the customization here. I'm able to put cannons on the front, the starboard, the port sides, and eventually, I think in the ship, I'll be able to put them on the back as well, but this current one is a little bit too small. Then you feel like you have a little bit more power going into the ocean. You have some weaponry and a little bit of speed as well. The way that ships work, by the way, is they do feel like they have engines. It doesn't really matter what sails you have up. You're going to be going at top speed most of the time, except for when that stamina bar runs out. It does seem that you just have some sort of engine, so it doesn't actually matter where the wind's going. I'm just going at a fairly constant 5 knots. There is no difference, which is unfortunate. I wish they actually put some sort of implementation. I mean, there probably is some wind implementation, but it doesn't seem to make any difference to me whatsoever. I can go 5 knots either way.
You need a keen eye for prizes. And a lot of guns.
I can get me more guns, don't you worry, Mr. Scully Boy. It looks like there is a decent amount of choice that you can have whether you want to play this as a trader or a pirate. Of course, I'm going down the pirate route because I ain't weak. Well, I am, but I ain't obviously weak. And it's a shame, because one thing I really like is the ability to try and navigate using the wind, but that's just not much of a factor. They do say when you go into storms that you slow down, so on and so forth, but I've not really noticed having much of an impact. Wind rarely comes into impact, and I thought that for a ship game, that would have been the main thing they focused on. You know, making the ships feel like they actually have some mechanics related to the real world environment, and making them satisfying. Sailing around, being able to do handbrake turns and swivel on a foot is just not that interesting. It feels like I'm driving a car, and I don't know why this was the way they decided to go. Maybe it's because the rest of the game is very arcadey, and because they want to try and make it as fast-paced as possible for this sort of RPG MMO style. Yet, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel like that hauling bit of machinery that Black Flag did, where it needs a whole crew in order to actually function. This just feels like a one-man speeder car, and I don't like it. Yet once we've got our extra ships and bits and pieces, we can go out into the world and try and find some guys to hunt. You'll find a lot of these merchant ships going around, and much like Black Flag, if you use your spyglass, you can see what level they are and what resources they have. At the moment, actually fighting other players didn't seem like it was much of a thing, or at least people were actually just ganging up on these merchant naval vessels, which, you know, was a decent idea. I had someone that invited me to join their little squad, which you can do, but I'm not entirely sure how useful it is, other than doing missions at the same time. But we did go out into the ocean, into this storm, and start ganging up on a few merchant ships as well. Whoa! We've hit some... What are you gonna do? Fire your little spikes at me, eh? Pathetic. Let's take these bad boys down. I can't see. Okay, we can actually board these lads. We're gonna go in for a boarding. I'm about to see the Skull and Bones boarding for myself. Here we go. I've heard many things about this. I cannot wait to board an enemy ship and see exactly how cool this truly is. All right, lads. I'm coming. I'm coming. There we go. That's embarrassing. I keep missing. Okay, so we actually have to aim the... We got him. What the hell is going on? That's it. Oh, that's so embarrassing, man. Why would you do that? I know they're angry at me and they're trying to attack me again, but we're going for more loot. Oh, fella, please don't get that close. Please don't. Brace. We're okay. Oh, we're not okay. Can you go away, son? You've got a nice boat, I understand, but go away. Let's try and get a boarding on there. Have I have actually attached to him. I'm in. I've grappled them. I might have blown up their boarding ideas, but it's fine because we got some loot from them. I'll have to go and find my friend. Friend, where are you? Why are you still blowing people up? Oh, you're over here. There's some loot there. Have you not bothered to... Oh my god, this guy has 19 cogwheels. He has been hard at work, my friend. Good on you, son. I'm going to sail with this guy for a little bit. He clearly knows what he's doing. Sorry, boys. We're coming in for an attack. Bush, 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 bush. Board that thing. Board that thing. Come on, let's grapple it. We've got it. And we're in. We're in for a boarding action. And there come the loot. Time to head back to port. It is time. Let's piss off some ships before I go. I made them angry and now I run. So after going and playing this for a few hours now, what do I actually think? Well, Ubisoft just have missed the mark, I think, completely with what a community wanted. It feels so arcadey, and I know I've said that so many times, but it is probably, at least for me, the most important part of this. It was not the game that people thought that they were being advertised to in the first place. This is not a pirate battle game. I actually don't know what it is at this point in time. There are missions that you can do, but they feel very, very shallow. They're mostly just fetch quests, you know, general Ubisoft style of gameplay. The ships themselves have some customization to them. It's still, once again, in the open beta, so we haven't been able to delve into that all that much. Yet, even then, there still feels like there isn't enough gameplay mechanics to really get yourself interested and hooked on this title. It feels as wide as an ocean and as deep as a puddle. Sure, the map is huge. Sure, it looks really pretty. But when you actually get down to the graft of playing this title, there isn't that much interesting gameplay. Because they messed up the way that ships are handled. They messed up the way you go and collect resources, disembark into islands that are just done through cutscenes. They messed up how you fight other ships. Instead of having volleys and volleys of cannonballs, you now just have semi-automatic machine guns on board your vessels, and it's so strange. Then when you go into boarding, you have this weird thing where you have to try and get the grappling hooks up and above and then try and actually attach onto the enemy ship, and it just looks so weird. And then it just plays a cutscene. So when another player is doing it, essentially all you see from your outward perspective is someone grapple onto them, the enemy ship just explodes, and that's it. I don't know why they've released a game in this state. It is still the open beta, but it will be coming out in about 7 days from this point. So it seems an incredibly strange direction for a title. In other words, it doesn't have much of a direction. It feels very shallow, and the best you can say for it is it looks goddamn gorgeous, and they've done a great job with that. But every aspect and every mechanic, I think as a whole, feels like it just hasn't had the time that's been put into it. Even now, after countless delays and almost a decade of development, it feels like it's had about 2 weeks worked on it. Because it just doesn't have any depth to it. Every single mechanic, from the missions to the ship handling, to the resource collecting, to the combat, feels very half-baked, very shallow, and that once you've tried it for an hour, you've pretty much sussed out everything this game has to offer. But I want to see this full release. I want to see where it goes, and I want to see how they improve on some of these issues. But let me know what you think. Have you played the open beta? And if you haven't already, by the way, it is free, so you might as well at this point. I don't know if I'm going to pay for the full game, though. That seems like a bridge too far.